that he's special and unique. At that moment Professor Hobby shows up to stop him and assures David that he's a real boy, claiming that he is his own blue fairy. Dr. No's clues on finding the blue fairy were explicitly made to lead David to Professor Hobby, and the journey also tested David's motivation to see if it was strong enough to make him chase an unknown dream, which other mechas can't do. Hobby walks out of the office to gather his team, leaving David thinking about the fact his journey has been part of someone else's design. Afterward, David enters another room, where he finds several more mechas that look like him, including one that is still open. He approaches a window and sees the bird he remembers as his first memory, which turns out to be a statue outside the office. Several boxes are laid out as David and his female counterpart are mass-produced to be sold. Realizing that he was never unique, David heads outside and drops into the water as Joe watches from the helicopter. Underwater, a bunch of fish carries David until he falls in front of something that catches his attention. David reaches out, but Joe finds him first and pulls him away using the helicopter's extended arm. Once he's out, David realizes that he found the blue fairy underwater. Unfortunately, before they can go further, Joe is suddenly magnetized by a police helicopter hovering above them. Joe says goodbye to David, asking him to tell his story to the ladies once he's grown up as a real boy. Then he activates the helicopter's submarine mode before floating away. Determined to find the blue fairy, David pilots the transformed helicopter into an abandoned carnival with Teddy beside him. They watch all the attractions representing fairy tales and eventually discover Pinocchio, which he follows until he finally finds the blue fairy statue. At that moment, the Ferris wheel collapses on top of the helicopter, trapping them. David doesn't care though, he only has eyes for the blue fairy and begs her to make him a real boy. However, the fairy doesn't respond, and years pass with David still stuck in there, never losing hope even when the lights begin to die off. 2,000 years later, the world is enveloped in ice and snow, and humans have been gone for a while. One day an alien spacecraft shows up and flies around Manhattan as they colonize the planet. There they move David's helicopter, finding him and Teddy on the ice. They quickly reactivate him and David proceeds to convulse before he notices the blue